At the beginning of the story, we see a woman named Mary with her husband. Actually, both of them are going to send their son named Stephen to boarding school. Stephen is a very calm boy, but sometimes his behavior becomes quite aggressive. Actually, Stephen's mother died in his childhood. After which his father married Mary, and since then, despite being Stephen's stepmother, she is taking care of Stephen. Mary is a child psychologist by profession. But Stephen's mental condition was getting worse than before, and there was no improvement in his behavior. Therefore, Mary also feels that sending Stephen to boarding school would be the right decision. After this, Stephen's father puts him in the car and leaves for the boarding school. But Stephen is very angry. He feels that his parents are distancing him from themselves. But his father explains to him, "Look, we have taken this decision for your welfare." But Stephen does not listen to him, and both of them argue. Stephen grabs the steering wheel of the car in anger, due to which Stephen's father loses control over the car, and their car meets with a terrible accident in which Stephen's father dies and Stephen goes into a coma. We see Stephen 6 months after this. He is alive but without any reaction, that is, he is paralyzed. He needs care all the time. He remains in a wheelchair most of the time. Mary bathes him daily, gives him food, medicine, and takes full care of him. Mary is now completely alone after the death of her husband and after this condition of her son. There is a small boy named Tom who is dumb. He is Mary's patient. Actually, Tom does not have parents, and he used to live in a boarding school earlier. But Tom had broken a boy's hand there. Therefore, he was going to be transferred to another place. Therefore, Tom was Mary's patient for a few months. Mary feels an emotional connection with Tom. She feels that. Mary thinks that if Tom stays with her for a few days, he might be able to speak again. But the government officials do not listen to Mary and take Tom away. At night, Mary is talking to her doctor friend on a video call. She says that now I cannot take care of Stephen alone and there is no improvement in his condition. So I will have to keep him in a care home even if I don't want to. Mary feels that she is not a good mother and she is unable to take care of her son along with her work. After this, Mary is bathing Stephen in the bathtub, but suddenly she starts drowning him in water to kill him because there is no improvement in Stephen's condition. She feels that by killing Stephen, she can get him out of his sorrow. But all this is just a nightmare of Mary. Due to which Mary wakes up in fear. Then she hears some sounds from outside the house. She gathers courage and goes out in the darkness of the night. She hears her car horn ringing. Due to which she gets scared. She feels that there is someone around the house. So she calls the police and gathers courage and comes to her car. Mary sees that the window of her car is broken and Tom is inside the car. Tom had come here because he wanted to stay with Mary. Mary brings him inside her house and calls the police and tells them that everything is fine now. Then Mary calls the government official and tells him about Tom. While she is talking, the door of the room closes. When Mary comes to Tom, she sees that Tom is not at home. She sees the door of the house open. Mary searches for Tom outside but does not find him anywhere. She thinks that Tom has run away. So she calls the police. The next day the police comes to Mary's house. It is very cold in this city and there is snow outside. The police thinks that maybe Tom must have got lost somewhere and he must have died in such cold. Mary is completely shattered by this because she was very close to Tom. At night when Mary falls asleep, she sees that Tom is not at home. While she is sleeping, she suddenly wakes up. Then she starts hearing strange sounds. Mary gets scared badly. She goes out of the house to see, but she does not see anyone. For many nights like this, Mary hears strange sounds. As if someone is walking on the floor. Sometimes the window opens on its own and sometimes the power goes off. One night, Tom comes to Mary's room and presses her mouth and asks her to keep quiet. The next morning, Mary thinks of talking to the doctor because she has started feeling that some ghost is doing all this to her or her mental condition has deteriorated. She was very upset by all this. She tells her doctor friend about this. The doctor tells her that you have parasomnia and sleep disorder. Because of this you are seeing Tom. He advises Mary not to take too much stress and asks her to take some medicines. He also asks her to get her blood test done. But Mary says that I do not have any disease. I have seen and heard all this with my own eyes. After this, Mary calls the nurse and gives her blood for a blood test. The next day, Mary is with a patient at her home. Then the father of that patient comes to take his son. Mary meets that man. Both of them talk for some time. Then the man who has recently got divorced asks Mary for a date. But Mary says, "My husband died a few months ago and I am not ready for this." So she refuses him in anger. The next day Mary realizes that she had got angry at that man without any reason. So she invites him to her house for dinner at night. At night Mary has dinner with that man and both of them talk about themselves. Mary tells that Stephen is paralyzed, due to which I have to take care of him. That is why I stay at home all day. After dinner, that man goes to his house and Mary puts Stephen to sleep and goes to sleep herself. When in the middle of the night Mary hears some sound. When Mary wakes up, she gets up and leaves the room. She sees everything blurry. She goes to Stephen's room but she cannot see Stephen on his bed. Then she hears a voice from inside a small door. When Mary opens the door and looks inside, two small hands grab her hand and start pulling her. But Mary somehow manages to free herself and closes the door. But she falls down and becomes unconscious. The next morning, Mary wakes up in the same place. She feels that maybe all this was her dream and she was walking in her sleep. When Mary goes to Stephen's room, she sees him on the bed. When she goes to Stephen, she sees that there are scratch marks on his face. Mary gets scared seeing this. After this, Mary comes to know from the news that Tom is dead. Mary feels very sad to know this. Now she starts feeling that Tom's soul is troubling her. She again talks to her doctor friend about this. But she says that all this is your illusion. Mary says, "I don't know what is happening to me. I hear the sound of someone walking on the basement floor of the house and the sound of the door opening and closing." The doctor asks her to stay calm and wait till the blood report comes. At that time, the same man who had dinner with Mary comes to the house. He says that a cyclone is about to come. So you should go to a safe place with your son. But Mary does not listen to him. She also comes to know from that man that Tom is not dead but is still missing. Actually, the police had found the dead body of some other boy of his age. Mary gets some relief after hearing this. After some time, Mary gets a video call from her doctor friend on the laptop. Mary's blood report has come. Seeing it, the doctor gets angry at Mary and says that you are taking different types of medicines. If you had to take sleeping pills, you could have told me. Why did you need to take Stephen's medicines? Was it needed? Hearing this, Mary says I have not taken any medicine and then says I will talk about it later and forgets to disconnect the video call and leaves from there. Then she hears a sound from the basement. She goes to see, here the doctor sees Stephen walking in Mary's house on the laptop screen. Seeing this, he is shocked and calls Mary to tell her about this. But Mary is in the basement. She sees Tom there. Then Stephen comes there and beats Mary and makes her unconscious. After some time, when Mary regains consciousness, she finds herself tied with wire on the bathtub and Stephen is bathing her with his hands in the same way as Mary used to bathe Stephen. Mary asks in surprise, "Why are you doing all this with me?" Stephen says, "The way you were taking care of me, I am taking care of you in the same way." Actually, Stephen's mental condition is not good. His mother died in childhood. Since then his stepmother Mary raised him. But when Stephen started growing up, he got attracted to Mary and wanted to stay with her always. But when he was being sent away from Mary, he could not tolerate it. He tells Mary that I caused an accident that day and killed my father. My body was never paralyzed after the accident. I did all this drama so that I could stay with you. He considered Mary as his own. He felt that only he had the right over Mary. Stephen's love was not love. It was a sick, crazy and dangerous obsession in which there was no love, only entitlement and madness. Then he further tells that everything was going well. I was also happy, but then Tom came with whom you started meeting openly. For him, You started distancing yourself from me and wanted to distance me from yourself. I did not like this thing. So that night when you called Tom home, I closed the door of the room and kidnapped Tom and locked him in the basement so that he dies of hunger. Stephen tells that I mixed you in the food and killed him. I was giving you my medicine to make you confused so that I could roam around at night, and when you saw Tom once you thought it was your illusion or dream. But that day you really saw Tom, who was running away from me. That means whatever Mary was seeing and hearing in the house was true. Stephen is a possessive and dangerous boy. He does not want to let anyone take his place. So now he wants to kill Tom and keep Mary with him. He asks Mary to swallow a medicine forcefully and then leaves her tied in the bag and goes to kill Tom. Meanwhile, Mary's doctor friend is coming towards her house in a car. Here Mary somehow frees herself and throws out the medicine from her stomach by vomiting. After this, Mary goes to the basement where Tom is tied and Stephen is preparing to kill Tom. Mary tries to convince him and says that you should leave Tom, but Stephen says that you are going to give him my place. I will not let this happen. I want to live with you. Mary traps him in her words and pushes Stephen down and quickly takes Tom with her and closes the basement door from outside. Then she wears her shoes and runs in the snow of the house. After going a little distance, she takes off her shoes and silently comes back home. Mary wanted to confuse Stephen so that Stephen, seeing her footprints in the snow, thinks that Mary has run away and goes out to look for her. Then Mary can take Tom and leave the house, seeing the opportunity. Mary knew that if she runs away with Tom in the snow right now, she cannot run very far and she does not have a car either. Due to which Stephen can catch her. That is why she hides in the cupboard with Tom. On the other hand, Stephen breaks the basement door and comes out. He sees that the main door of the house is open. But then his eyes fall on a piece of snow fallen near the door. He understands that Mary is still inside the house. Now Stephen starts looking for her all over the house. At that time, Mary's doctor friend arrives there. She wanted to make Stephen think that Mary has run away after seeing her footprints in the snow and go out to look for her. Then Mary could take Tom and leave the house after getting the chance. Mary knew that if she ran away with Tom in the snow right now, she would not be able to run far and she did not have a car either. Due to which Stephen could catch her. So she takes Tom and hides in the cupboard. On the other hand, Stephen breaks the basement door and comes out. He sees that the main door of the house is open. But then his eyes fall on a piece of snow fallen near the door. He understands that Mary is still inside the house. Now Stephen starts looking for her in the whole house. At that time, Mary's doctor friend reaches there and starts calling him. Suddenly Stephen comes to him, and before the doctor could understand anything, Stephen stabs him in the stomach and leaves him to die and goes away, and the doctor starts coming inside the house in pain. After this, Stephen closes all the windows and doors of the house by hammering nails. But he keeps the main door open so that when Mary sees the door open and comes out to run, he can catch her. Now Stephen is searching for Mary by roaming around the whole house. At the same time, Mary gets a chance and comes out of the cupboard with Tom. She goes towards the main door. But as soon as she opens the door, she sees the dead body of the same man who had asked Mary for a date and was trying to get close to Mary. That is why Stephen killed him. Mary's heart is shaken after seeing this. Then Mary's eyes fall on the doctor, who was sitting inside the house in an injured condition. He tells Mary that Stephen has now gone completely mad. If you want to defeat him, then do what he wants. Just beat him in his game. After listening to the doctor, Mary takes Tom to the kitchen. There she breaks the glass of a skylight and first takes Tom out. Then as she herself is about to go out quickly, Stephen comes from behind. Mary takes him and says that you don't need to kill Tom. I promise that I will never bring him to the house again. She further says that I did not know that you were doing all this just to stay with me. If I had known earlier, I would never have separated you from myself. Stephen calms down a bit after listening to Mary's words. But then Mary suddenly hits him hard on the head with a pen kept nearby. Mary immediately runs outside with Tom. But Stephen gets up from behind and starts chasing them with a hammer. Mary and Tom reach near a lake while running. Stephen is running to catch Tom. Seeing this, Mary stops and tries to stop Stephen from going near Tom. But Stephen pushes her and makes her fall. Then he catches Tom and tries to kill him by drowning him in cold water by holding his throat. Meanwhile, Mary picks up Stephen's hammer lying on the ice and hits Stephen's head with full force from behind. Stephen dies in a single blow. Mary pulls out Tom, who is drowning in the lake, and he is safe. After a few days, Mary takes Tom to the adoption center, where she applies to adopt him legally. Tom is now completely with Mary. Both are safe and calm and ready to start a new life, and the film ends with this. Friends, if you were there, what would you have planned first to run away from home? Do give your opinion in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel by liking and sharing the video and press the bell icon so that you do not miss the upcoming videos. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.